shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Good morning. Yes, yes. Thank you. Well, good morning, all souls. Welcome home. Yes. You can clap to that. Hey, I'm Assistant Minister Randy Lewis, and the entire ministry team and I are so excited to be with you on this homecoming Sunday service. Together with Pastor David Smith, Matt Davis, we warmly welcome our guest musicians, organist Karen Rich and Jordan Hale on bass. And you just seen David Lawrence will be conducting our choir this morning in Rick Fordner's absence. And as we continue in the spirit of community and connection, we extend a warm welcome to those who've joined us online, our online viewers and everywhere, members watching from all over the world. We're so glad you decided to join us this morning. Now, if you're on Facebook or Zoom, please drop your prayer requests, joys, and concerns in the chat so that in a moment we can light a candle and hold space for you here in the sanctuary. Now, if you're new to All Souls or a first-time guest or new to All Souls, the ushers are here with a gift for you. And so if you'll raise your hand so they'll know where you are, we can get you that gift. And also, you're invited for some light refreshments and a chance to meet one of our Welcoming Souls team members immediately after the service. Keep your hands up. He's walking down now, so keep your hands up so he can see you there. So you're invited to a special meet and greet immediately after the service in the Sonnen Library outside of the sanctuary doors to your left there. And if you're online, please consider staying for our coffee hour conversations immediately after the service. And now, I invite you to stand as you're able as Reverend Gerald comes with our invocation and covenant.
Well, good morning, church.
Good morning.
Hey, this is indeed a day that God has made. Let us then rejoice in it and be glad. And let us count our many blessings. We are grateful for the capacity to see, hear, feel, and understand. We are grateful for the incredible gift of life. And we are especially grateful for the ties of love which bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all our days. Please join me in our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Well, welcome to, welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond belief. Hit it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now take a moment to greet somebody before you sit down and say, welcome home. We're glad you're here. So for our chalice lighting this morning, we have many. If you were here last Sunday, you know that we have a new minister on our team this year, part-time. Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk is with us. She's a professor at the Meadville Lombard Theological School in Chicago, but since they've gone to almost completely remote learning, she lives now in Tulsa, where she grew up, and she's joining us this year as our program minister part-time. She had to be in Chicago for their commencement this morning, so we have a video of her lighting the chalice for us this morning.
Hello, all souls, here and everywhere. I am excited to be joining you, and this is going to be a great year. As we begin our new year together, let us hold with one another the many questions we carry. What is going to happen tomorrow? How will we live between heartbreak and joy? Today, as we light our chalice, let love be the answer. Let love bring us home.
So I have a question for you this morning. Is there anybody here who has not seen a baby or child dedication here at All Souls before? Anybody? Okay, a few people. All right, a number of people. Well, this is your lucky day because you're going to be able to see them. We have two. We have a baby and a child being dedicated, two different families this morning on homecoming. So we're really excited to have them. And I'm going to invite them forward in just a moment. But I want to tell you a little bit about what this ceremony, where it comes from and what we're doing here. So when a couple is married, often they'll come right here onto the chancel. This is the chancel, this part of the sanctuary. And they come before us and they make a promise to each other, a covenant. They say vows to each other about their life together. Well, at that time, the baby or child that's before us was not a part of their family. So when the child is born or the family comes into our community, they bring their baby or child forward and we dedicate that child. And it's a chance for them to open up their covenant and welcome this new life into it. And it's also a chance for us as a community to pledge our support of this family and this new child in our midst. Because as we know, it takes a village to raise a child, at least a village. And so we also, for the children who are here and our youth, ninth grade, those who are ninth grade and younger, we have a part for you in this ceremony. In just a moment, I'm going to invite you to take a part as well. And I'm going to ask you a question. And if you agree to the question, your part is to say, I will. So I'd like to practice with those who are ninth grade and younger. Let's practice. If I ask you the question, I want you to say, I will. Can you say that? All right, that's pretty good. Let's try that one more time. 1, 2, 3. All right. Say that with real gusto when I ask you in a few moments after the ceremony begins. Now, I said I'd tell you a little bit about where it comes from. There is a chapter in the Bible, in the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verses 13 through 15, where it says that parents and families were bringing children to Jesus to ask him to bless them. And his disciples, those who were around Jesus, said, no, come on, get away from him. Get away from him. He's got other things. He's got important things to do here. Don't be bringing your children. Come on, he doesn't have time for this. And what Jesus said was, no. Don't stop them. Let them come. Let me bless them, because these are of the kingdom of heaven. He was saying the future is theirs, and we should bless them. And you have to know that in the time that Jesus was around, children were not considered very important. They were kind of the lowest on the totem pole of life. But the thing about Jesus was everybody was important to him. Everybody mattered, even from the lowest to the highest. And so we continue this tradition here to remind us that even our children are loved. Before they don't have to do anything to be loved. They don't have to have done anything to prove it. They are just loved because they're a part of our community and they're important and they matter. And so with that, I'd like to invite the families that have children to be dedicated this morning to please come forward onto the chancel. First to the parents. You can turn this way so you can see me. Yes. Dearly beloved, in bringing these children to be received by this ancient symbol into the fellowship of the church, you declare your desire and purpose to bring them up according to your best endeavor in the way of that religion which speaks most forcefully to you from out of your own hearts. Will you therefore, as you are given to know it, teach your child the ways of truth and righteousness and love? If so, please say, we will. All right. And now to the family members who are here with us, will you as sponsors of these children ever bear in mind your duty, your tender and solemn duty to which you here undertake? Will you trust and befriend and love these children in order that they may grow in righteousness and love? If so, please say, I will. I will. All right. And I know we have a godparent who is here as well. You stand as a godparent to this young baby, and you shall be blessed with a special relationship within this family. In times of crisis and confusion, you will be looked to for comfort and for solace. You will be looked to as a guide in his search for a moral and meaningful life. You must stand beside this child, who you are now a godparent to, all through your life and his life, ready to minister to him. Do you accept this duty before God and this body to be the godparent of this child? Beautiful. Now remember, all of you, and especially the parents, when these children reach the age of discretion, when they will be able, out of their own mind, their own heart, and their own will, to acknowledge their duty to God and to humanity, that you will lead them to confirm the meaning of this hour, this ritual, and this moment. Now, I would like to ask the children of our church, 9th grade and younger, if you're 9th grade and younger, I'd ask you to please rise. Please stand as you are able. Yes, thank you. Are you standing, everybody? All right, beautiful. All right. Now, these children will be joining you for fun and exploration to find meaning in our church Sunday school. So will you make a place for them and for all children who come into this congregation to become a part of our community? If so, please say, I will. Beautiful. Thank you. You may be seated. And would the congregation please rise and join me in saying the words of dedication printed in our order of service. You all can turn towards them a little bit and listen. Now we, the people of this church, understanding our solemn obligations to share in the upbringing of these beloved children, do hereby pledge ourselves to promote their welfare in mind, body, and soul to the end that they may grow in beauty, love, and truth. All right. We'll begin here with your son. Here we go. Here, let me take you up. All right. Please name your child. Reese Ellery Harrison. I welcome you into the fellowship of all good souls, and I dedicate you to a life of righteousness and love. May your eyes see beauty, may your lips speak truth, may your heart know love, and may your hands, let me see those hands. May your hands go ahead and take this rose. May your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. All right, and now, hey, beautiful. Please name your child. Levon Lane Bandy. I welcome you into the fellowship of all good souls, and I dedicate you to a life of righteousness and love. May your eyes see beauty, may your lips speak truth, may your heart know love, and may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. Let love be our guide. Love is the spirit of this church. And you should have received, if you're in the sanctuary, a heart when you came in. So I want you to take that heart as a reminder to let love be your guide this year and every year of your life. As the families go to be seated, I would invite all of our children and youth. Now you can go to your Sunday school, take that heart with you and take it home and bear it home with you. And now may you be blessed and be a blessing. Amen. You may be seated.
Today we honor the mystery and complexity of life. We know that life is never static and that change is the only thing that we are truly presented with. But we are reminded that in times of darkness and difficulty that we have each other, that we have a place to come home to, a place to share our lives' difficulties and the blessings, joys and the sorrows. And so today we light a candle for James Rod Knowlton and Amanda Schenkel Knowlton and family in the loss of Rod's father, James Alden Knowlton, who died at the age of 84 on September 2nd. We light a candle for member Susie Ewing, who is recovering from surgery. And we light a candle for our own director of music, Rick Fordner, who's not feeling well today. Rick, if you're watching, we miss you. And we light a candle for the families who have lost loved ones and for all those impacted by the tragic and senseless gun violence at the Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia. I invite you now to name aloud someone you wish to be included in this sacred moment. I light a final candle for all the names spoken, those unspoken, yet who remain in our hearts. If this Sunday is closest to the anniversary of a loved one's death, we invite you now to stand for a brief moment of silence before the prayer.
You may be seated. Hear now this prayer. O gracious God, Spirit of life and love, we are gathered in this place today, a special day we call homecoming. It is difficult to find our way when there's so many pitfalls and disruptions. But we know there also are opportunities if we would but believe. So we come to this place of homecoming, bringing with us all that we have endured outside this space. We found ourselves in pitfalls, probably. But there were opportunities. There were times when we began to give a moral imagination to the problem. We began to understand that though the difficulties are abounding, though there are worldwide calamities that break our hearts, we know that there is possibilities because you gave us this strength to move past those pitfalls. And we believe that there will be opportunities to make it right. We are praying this morning because homecoming means that we are together. We are with one another. We are finally able to see one another in all kinds of ways. We see all kinds of ways because we know that love has no boundaries. Love will give us the strength to confront these structures of evil. Oh, we're confronting them with justice. Yes, we're confronting them with compassion. And yes, we are confronting them with that transforming power of love. We are here today to get filled up. This is homecoming. It's a time where we get filled up with what we need to have in order to be the best we can be. We are part of one another, interdependent. We're not alone. We are with one another, and we feel the energy that comes from you and me. We are each other's company. And so we are praying this prayer that we may begin a new day, a new way, by being who we are authentically right now. We pray this prayer in your holy name because we believe all things are possible through you. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe. May it be so.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. Please rise and body of spirit. Hymn number 126. Come thou fount of every blessing.
Streams of
My friend Kay Montgomery wrote, "I invented Unitarian Universalism all by myself. Now, I know numerous other people who have done this as well," she says. "I did it on buses traveling up and down Livernois Avenue in Detroit. I was 17 or so, a working class Irish girl, living with my parents and attending a Jesuit college about 10 miles away. The Jesuits would have been astonished, I suppose, to learn that this was what they had fashioned. A teenager trying to figure out what religion was and could be, and whether it was even possible to be both religious and honest, much less an actual member of an actual church. I thought not," she says. "Each day that bus went within half a mile or so of a Unitarian church. But I didn't know that, and if I had known, it wouldn't have meant a thing. A decade later, in another city, long after I'd given up religion, I stumbled on a passage in a book that described Unitarian Universalism. I was astonished. This thing I had invented actually existed. A richer version than mine, a version with a religious, intellectual, and cultural tradition I could not have imagined, but still identifiably mine. And then there was the experience so many of us have of coming home, of showing up and finding comfort and challenge and people who insisted that I grow, of finding ideas that thrilled and scared me because they demanded so much, of finding a community of scrappy, smart, satisfying people who care passionately about each other and the community they are a part of, and about leaving the planet a better place. People who believe that they need one another for all kinds of personal and social reasons and for the work of making justice. We come from so many places. Parents who want their children to be religious but not indoctrinated. Community activists who want a spiritual grounding for their work. People who left a traditional religion because they grew uncomfortable with its message. Those with generations of Unitarian or Universalist forebears. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, and or transgender people who want a church where they will feel welcome and where their partnerships will be blessed. Biracial families. Couples from different faiths who joined because they wanted to be married by a clergy person who will respect and honor their traditions, and they decided to stay. Many paths are traveled on the way to a church community like this. Those are the words of my good friend Kay Montgomery. Now, I want to take us back for a moment to ancient Greece, where there was a place called the Agora. Now, the word Agora translates as gathering place. The Agora would attract people from all walks of life, political figures, poets, philosophers, and common folk. Subsets of people who would not have otherwise interacted with each other as part of their daily routines. The ancient Agora of Athens is probably the best known example. It was a place to hang out and watch performers and listen to famous philosophers and to participate in democracy. Over the past decade or so here, there's been a lot of talk in our country about the importance of having a third place in our lives. Our first place is our home. The second place is our work or our school, as the case may be. And a third place is a place that we choose to be in. It offers opportunities to relax, to learn, to explore, to be yourself in public, to meet new people, and to see familiar faces. It should be a place that allows you to broaden your interactions with others, to be creative, to feel welcome. Having a third place enlarges people's lives, and it significantly improves their well-being. I was reading a book just this week, in fact, with the title, Belong, Find Your People, Create Community, and Live a More Connected Life. The author, Radha Agrawal, shares statistics from the American Sociological Review that show that having weak social ties is as harmful to your health as being an alcoholic, and twice as harmful as obesity. I had to read that twice just to make sure that I got it. Poor social ties is as harmful to your health as being an alcoholic, and twice as harmful as obesity. Now, one of the most important qualities of a third place is that you have no obligation to be there. You can come and you can go as you please. For many of us, All Souls is our third place. It's a place where we can relax and have fun and learn and love and explore and be ourselves and have cultural exchanges and opportunities to give back and to be around people we might not otherwise get to know. It's a place where we build resilience and courage and can be engaged in all kinds of issues and activities that matter. Now, David Cronin, who used to own a bookstore named Changing Times, he tells a story about a time when a woman came in to his store with a small child. She asked, "Do you carry resin incense?" "Well, yes, I do," he replied, as he began walking her over to the incense. Now, when they got there, she picked up a small bag of amber resin, held it to her nose, and took in a long, deep smell with her eyes closed. After a moment, she looked at him with a huge smile and joyous eyes. She lovingly spoke of growing up in Morocco and how her mother would take her to the market. There'd be rows and rows of small, colorful stalls, many of which would burn amber resin incense. She liked to burn it now whenever her heart was heavy, missing her homeland. He says, "For a moment, I could feel her joy, and it felt like I was transported back with her to the marketplace of her childhood. It was as if we were walking together, children holding hands among the stalls." Sometimes it's the coming together, the joining of our hearts and our stories over the things that we've found, or the things that we've lost, or the things that we've done, that draw out the best of our humanness. I've experienced this kind of thing many times here at All Souls. I bet you may have as well. In a classroom or a small group, or during the check-in at a committee meeting. When somebody says something and I feel transported back to my childhood or to some other time in my life. I love it when people share their stories that are so different from mine, something I've never experienced, and they tell me and they let me walk in and walk with them into an experience that to me would seem so exotic and amazing. I hear it all the time in the foyer of All Souls, or when we're introducing ourselves at the beginning of a Wednesday night class. "You were raised Mormon? I was too," someone says. "You were made to go to church 5 times a week? So was I." You went back and forth between your Jewish relatives and your Christian relatives, and you never quite felt like you fit in with either? Me too. You were kicked out of Sunday school? I was too. Now, I don't care how old I get, when I have that feeling of being transported back like I'm a child holding hands with another child, it's magical. These shared moments take me back while also connecting me to the present and I feel so alive, and my life makes sense in a new way. That's why I think having a third place in our life brings out the best in our humanness and makes life so much richer. In some cultures, the barber shop or the beauty salon is a third place. When I was in middle school, we had a youth center where we would go after school. For some, it's the library or the bowling alley or a coffee shop. But many of the places are commercial establishments where there's a corporate profit incentive to buy something in order to be there. Whether it's a bookstore, a coffee shop, or a diner, or a local bar. For too many teenagers, it's the mall, a rather impersonal place with fluorescent lights, wandering into shops with things they can't afford. But it's because we're all hungry for connection. Social media feels like a third place. But of course, there's the trolls and the negative comments and the false information. In fact, the first cartoon, some of you know I also like to draw cartoons. The first cartoon that I had published in the Tulsa World some years ago was of a woman's funeral. And the pastor is speaking to a mostly empty church. And he says, Mary had 3,000 Facebook friends. That said, one of the silver linings of the pandemic is that it's given us many more ways to connect online. All Souls has around 200 everywhere members all across North America and in other parts of the world, including Italy, Uganda, Holland, China, and other places. If you're on Facebook today, you were probably greeted by Giacomo Tesaro, our Facebook greeter, every Sunday who lives in Rome. If you're on Zoom, you may be chatting this morning with Leon in Uganda, or Jeannie from Minnesota, or Rebecca from Chicago. We have people far and wide who serve on this church's board of trustees, who help with plan our gala fundraiser, who help light the chalice from time to time. We learn together in classes. We help each other expand our minds. We celebrate and mourn major life events. We laugh together. We cry together. We worship and make meaning together. Heck, we made it through the pandemic together. And we're going to get through this election together, too. Now, for those of us who are in Tulsa, we also have people who will bring us a meal when we're in or just out of the hospital. People who will be with us when someone we love dies, who will help us raise our children, will help us grow old with grace, will help us stay young with engagement, will help us die with dignity and comfort and people around us. I'm reminded of something I read some years ago from anthropologist Margaret Mead. She was asked by a student, what is the earliest sign of civilization in a culture? Now, the student expected Mead to talk about fish hooks and clay pots and grinding stones, but no. Mead said that the first sign of civilization in an ancient culture was a femur, a thigh bone, that had been broken and then healed. Mead explained that in the animal kingdom, if you break your leg, you die. You can no longer run from danger, or get to the river for a drink, or hunt for food. You are meat for prowling beasts. No animal survives a broken leg long enough for the bone to heal. A broken femur that is healed is evidence that someone has taken time to stay with the one who fell, has bound up the wound, has carried the person to safety, and has tended the person through recovery. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts, Mead explained. In our fast-paced, constantly changing, often divided world, I'm so thankful to have this church as a third place. Too many people are trying to get through these times without an authentic community of fellow travelers. I hope that you don't take this place for granted. In this highly conflicted election year, in this era of banning books and Bibles in schools, as we publicly debate things like gender and race and inclusion, it's a blessing to have a whole bunch of real people, people who are different from ourselves and people who are just like us. I can't imagine trying to get through it without all of you. And even if I could, I wouldn't want to. My friend Kay, who I mentioned earlier, who thinks that she invented Unitarian Universalism on her own, she went on to share that she had an experience that changed her feelings about inviting others to her chosen faith tradition. She said, when my brother was dying, the sibling I had always been the closest to, for months I spent every weekend that I could traveling from Boston, where I lived, to Detroit. Those weeks were fraught with pain and grief, but also with unexpected moments of something like joy. John and I and the rest of the family cried and we laughed. And then odd and amazing things happened. Because in the midst of this tragedy, this watching of a marathon runner curled on his bed like a child, there was space only for honesty. Odd and amazing things happened, but none more odd and amazing than this. Johnny experienced a deathbed conversion. My Roman Catholic brother became a Unitarian Universalist. She writes, he gathered us, his wife, his grown sons, and me, and asked that a friend of mine, Teresa Cooley, the minister of the First Unitarian Universalist Church in Detroit, the very church I had passed in the bus those decades earlier, and he asked her to minister to him for the last weeks of his life. The memorial service was held at that church, attended by hundreds of people. Kay says, I smiled, honored to have witnessed this final act of integrity, and pleased to know that he and I were more alike than we had guessed. I was also sad that his life, which was so rich in so many ways, had not been as spiritually satisfying as his death. And I was conscious that the one person who might have changed that was me. I had talked about my church, of course, but the one thing I hadn't done, hadn't even thought of doing, was urge him to join me there. This is what I've learned, she said. For each time I don't reach out to someone who might find meaning and value in this tradition, for each time I hesitate to be hospitable out of shyness or solipsism, I may be leaving someone's life poorer than it might be. If there's a teenager on a bus somewhere, and there is, I'd like to offer her the good news of All Souls and Unitarian Universalism. Now, I realize that most of us are hesitant to even mention we go to church, let alone invite someone, mostly because of the negative connotations that so many have had with churches and those who try to bring others. But an invitation here can add so much to the life of someone who shares our sensibilities. Think about how much it's added to your life. Let's admit it, this is a very different kind of community. This is a gathering place for love and courage and connection. It's a third place like no other anywhere in the world. Let's not hide it under a bushel. I love you. Welcome home.
I'm so glad to say that we're here together. This is my home, and there ain't nothing in the world that's better. I can see it clear. Love brings us here, back where we belong. Together we can do no wrong. Together's where we all belong. You're my home, my home. I can feel the warmth deep down in my bones. When I walk through that open door, I know that I am home. I can feel it drawing near. Love brings us here, back where we belong. Together we can do no wrong. Together's where we all belong. You're my home, my home. My home. You're my home. Love brings us here, back where we belong. Together we can do no wrong. Together's where we all belong. You're my home. Love brings us here. My home. My home brings us here. My home, right back where we belong. My home brings us here. My home.
Yeah. Beautiful. 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 Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Well, like Dorothy said, there's no place like home. And I'm just glad we're here. I hope you can stay afterward. We have a picnic on the lawn, games, face painting for the kids, balloon animals. I think there's a bounce house out there, and food in Emerson Hall, our bookstore. There's probably a chance to sign up for some activities that are going on in the coming weeks. So I hope you'll stay and have a party, meet some new friends, and really help us make this place that third place in our lives where people can feel like they know familiar faces and meet new faces and really enhance our lives in the way that such a place can do for us. I've got a few quick announcements. Speaking of, but before I want to say, if you have a child or who you've come into the church since your child was born, and it doesn't matter what age before 9th grade, we welcome any Sunday. Let us know. And most Sundays we can do that, have a ceremony of dedication and blessing. It's so meaningful for the families and for the children and for our whole community. So please, we welcome that. Just contact the church office about that. Also, I want to let you know that although All Souls had previous plans to move downtown, you may remember that back a few years ago, the dramatic shifts that were brought about by the pandemic caused us to realize the wise thing for us to do is to stay here where we are. And so we came together, made that decision, and there truly is no place like home. We've been here for 67 years in this location, and we have been reimagining what we can do in this space, in this location. We've identified a list of major projects that we need to work on and creating some outdoor spaces and some other spaces here. So be looking for that. This year we're going to learn more about that. We'll start rolling those things out. We'll probably have a No Place Like Home campaign or something so that we can raise the money to make some adjustments. But be looking for that. And you'll see some opportunities to take a little survey to get some information from you about what you love about this community and what you dream about. So I hope that you'll take some time when you see the survey come around in the email and online that you'll add your love and ideas to that. Please look in your program if you're here or in the comments if you're online. We've got a number of things. This is the last chance to join up for our conscious inclusion groups, which are going to be phenomenal. Don't miss out. I think there were 90 people who came the other night or who have signed up to be a part of those, but it's for everybody. And it's going to be a great thing this year. It's a major initiative of All Souls this year, and you can be a part of it, and it will change your life, and it will change your relationships in a profound way. So I highly, highly recommend you sign up for Conscious Inclusion. Also, you can see that we're looking for volunteers in the schools that we work with in Tulsa Public. Also, our Justice Revival's coming up next weekend. Reverend Barbara Prose is going to be back. Those of us who, yes. She'll be here on Sunday, but on Saturday she's going to give the keynote talk at our Justice Revival, which is going to bring together all of our justice teams and get everybody excited for a new year of working together. So check it out. Hope to see you in a few moments at the party. If you want to join All Souls, there's an opportunity to join today as well, up in room 206 at 11:15. So just a little bit after this service, maybe grab yourself a hot dog or something and then head up to room 206 to join. I don't think I forgot any announcements. So with that, our offering today is going to go to Partners in Education, our program that helps in the schools. The Tulsa Public started this last week or a few weeks ago, and they need our support. And so every dollar you give will go to support our public schools. Although if you do want to make a pledge payment to All Souls, be sure to mark on your check or envelope All Souls or church, and mark offering for that money that's going out to Partners in Education. Let us now receive our offering. give a big hand to Karen Rich on the organ today. Thank you so much. Wow, what an instrument. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, I want to let you know, usually our children come back in here and meet their parents, but today, in light of everything that's going on out here, we decided 5th grade and younger, if you have a child 5th grade and younger, just go down this hallway to the chapel and pick up your children in the chapel. We just want to make sure all the children get to their parents and nobody gets lost in all the festivities. But I hope you can stick around. They're going to have a great time. As we extinguish our chalice, may the light and the illumination that we experience in this place go with us out into the world that so much needs the kind of love and inclusion and welcome that we have to offer. So go forth into this day. May your eyes see beauty. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands do the good works of this world until we meet again. Go and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen. Welcome home.